Greetings, friends. Welcome to CTUCC ConferenceCast for August 22nd, 2013, the regular podcast of the Connecticut Conference of the United Church of Christ. Whoever you are and wherever you may be on life's journey at this very moment, you are welcome here. We begin this week's conference cast with this meditation from Cecile Gilson, assistant to the conference minister. In the 13th chapter of Luke's Gospel, Jesus sees a woman with a terribly curved spine, which prevents her from standing up straight. He calls her to him and says, "Woman, you are set free from your ailment," at which she immediately stands straight and praises God.
One of my practices in preparing to write these occasional pieces is to read Sermon Seeds, a weekly resource published online at the United Church of Christ website. I use the resource to read the text for the chosen Sunday and the reflections by Catherine Matthews Huey. It often sparks some idea or current situation that can provide further inspiration for me. You can find Sermon Seeds at ucc.org/worship/Samuel. As I read this week's piece, the one visual that stuck in my mind was the little bit of square footage the woman has been limited to seeing for almost 20 years, as her curved spine forced her to look down. Beyond the pain that she most likely felt, the inconvenience of the restricted mobility, the obvious difficulties she must have had accomplishing even the smallest of tasks, imagine the isolation she must have felt as a result of not being able to look people in the eye. She would have trouble sharing the everyday joy of seeing a child smile, of observing the reactions of people as she was in community with them, or just feeling part of a community. Imagine her joy when she was released from this prison, how grateful she was that Jesus saw her pain and reached out to help her. How often are we comforted when someone, a friend or stranger, recognizes that we are in need of support? When we receive a smile from a complete stranger as we share an elevator, or a hug from a friend because they are happy to see us, or to give comfort in time of need, or a phone call out of the blue just to say hi and how are you? Jesus calls us to widen our vision and to see others around us. He calls us to care for one another and to recognize that all are created in the image of God. Here is a prayer for this week. Creator God, we see you in everyone we meet, and we celebrate the presence. We give thanks that we have the example of Jesus to help us to live as you intended for us to live. Amen.
In the news this week, Temple Beth David in Cheshire has for some years had the problem we'd all like to have: too many people at worship during the high holy days than will actually fit in their space. So, during that time, they've had to split the services into 2 rooms. This year, however, the entire congregation will celebrate Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur together in a larger holy space, the sanctuary of the First Congregational Church UCC of Cheshire just down the street. Rabbi Josh Winston praised the welcome offered by First Church with these words: "The community's desire to throw open their doors for the Temple Beth David community reminds me of Abraham sitting in his tent waiting for guests to serve." Senior Minister the Reverend Jeffrey Brown affirmed that this expression of hospitality is as profound and as embodied an expression of our respective faiths and our blended histories as one can imagine. Rosh Hashanah, the celebration of the new year, is September 5th. Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, is September 14th. As we mentioned last week, next Wednesday, August 28th, marks the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. In 1963, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered the I Have a Dream speech on that occasion, which became the most widely known and praised expression of the aspirations of the civil rights movement. The United Church of Christ has gathered a variety of testimonies, prayers, and reflections for the occasion, including a meditation by the United Collegium of Officers. On the 50th anniversary of the powerful witness of thousands, they write, we hearken back to the words of a great prophet of our time, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who said, change does not roll in on the wheels of inevitability, but comes through continuous struggle. Let us not faint or grow weary in making real the vision of the beloved community. Our conference minister, the Reverend Kent J. Siladi, offers these thoughts on this momentous anniversary.
Anniversaries are occasions for both remembering and recommitting to the event that is being remembered. August 28th marks the 50th anniversary of the historic March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. It is, of course, remembered as the setting for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s historic I Have a Dream speech. More than 250,000 people were a part of this important event that was a powerful witness speaking against the policies of segregation. Initiated by A. Philip Randolph of the Brotherhood of Sleeping Car Porters, the march became a joint project with the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. African American labor leaders were concerned that workers were being largely ignored in the civil rights discussions. Bayard Rustin, who will be posthumously awarded the Medal of Freedom by President Obama, was the lead organizer of this march. He read a list of demands at the end of the march that included: the first demand is that we have effective civil rights legislation, no compromise, no filibuster, and that it includes public accommodations, decent housing, integrated education, FEPC, and the right to vote. Number 2, we demand the withholding of federal funds from all programs in which discrimination exists. We demand that segregation be ended in every school district in the year 1963. After listing other such demands, Rustin invites those who were gathered on the Washington Mall to make a pledge. The pledge is this: standing before the Lincoln Memorial on the 28th of August in the centennial year of emancipation, I affirm my complete personal commitment to the struggle for jobs and freedom for Americans. To fulfill that commitment, I pledge that I will not relax until victory is won. I pledge that I will join and support all actions undertaken in good faith in accord with a time-honored democratic tradition of nonviolent protest, of peaceful assembly and petition, and of redress through the courts and the legislative process. I pledge to carry the message of the march to my friends and neighbors back home and arouse them to an equal commitment and equal effort. I will march, and I will write letters. I will demonstrate, and I will vote. I will work to make sure that my voice and those of my brothers and sisters ring clear and determined from every corner of our land. I pledge my heart and my mind and my body unequivocally and without regard to personal sacrifice to the achievement of social peace through social justice. You can listen yourself to Bayard's words at www.wgbh.org. 50 years later, we would love to be able to say that progress has been made and that this pledge and the dream have been fulfilled. However, we know that's not true. this time in our history. Recent events remind us of the sharp racial divides that still exist in our nation. We know that we have not yet reached a point of racial harmony and racial justice. We've fallen short, and we recognize sometimes in very painful ways how far we still have to go in attaining the vision that they may all be one. And so as we head into this time of remembrance, may it serve as an occasion for self-examination and for a renewed commitment by all of us here in the Connecticut Conference to work for God's peace and God's justice. Let us continue the work for economic and racial justice here in this state, in our own local communities, and in our nation. With hands, hearts, and voices, let us continue to work as people of faith to share the unconditional love of God and to work to make this world a place of safety, security, and blessings.
You'll find links to the Collegium Statement and March on Washington Anniversary resources, a direct link to Bayard Rustin's words in 1963 at WGBH.org, and, of course, all the current headlines when you visit us at ctucc.org/news. Join the Connecticut Conference Choir as it rehearses on August 31st in Essex. Learn about implementing a season of generosity, a new approach to stewardship, presented by Patsy Bjorling on September 7th in North Haven. And don't forget to join us to celebrate the ministry of Mike Penstra, our retiring South Central Regional Minister, in North Haven on September 19th. CT Women of the UCC hold their fall retreat at Silver Lake September 20th and 21st. The Reverend Dr. Kirk Byron Jones will help authorized ministers, Christian educators, and church musicians get free refills, some real time off, during General Association, which runs September 22nd through 24th at Silver Lake. Meet some of the members of the Still Speaking Writers Group on September 26th in Hartford. And on September 28th, we will install the Reverend Kent J. Siladi as Conference Minister at First Church of Christ UCC in Glastonbury. Materials for this fall's annual meeting, to be held October 18th and 19th in Hartford, and featuring the Reverend Kent Siladi and the Reverend Mike Piazza, are online at ctucc.org/annual meeting. Registration is now open for the 2013 and 14 series of confirmation retreats, which bring together young people considering a commitment to their local churches at Silver Lake Conference Center. Learn more, select dates, and register at ctucc.org/conf-retreats. You can learn more about what's coming up in the Connecticut Conference by visiting us at ctucc.org/events. And that brings this ConferenceCast to a close. Thanks to Cecile Gilson for her reflection and to GarageBand for our music. Primary funding for ConferenceCast comes from your congregation's gifts to our church's wider mission, basic support, changing lives through the United Church of Christ. This is Eric Anderson, the Minister of Communications and Technology for the Connecticut Conference of the United Church of Christ, praying that your days this week may be filled with the presence, the guidance, and the grace of God. This is Eric Anderson again. An announcement about future podcasts. We will be one day late with ConferenceCast next week because I need to take the day to deliver my daughter to college. So look for us next Friday.